one last topic we'd like to cover before we wrap this up. Remote work. It's a top topic for us over the last couple of years. How do you see the importance of remote work, and how do you manage your team and create the right team culture and company culture with remote work?
Yeah. So we've been remote from day one.
Yep.
I knew I did not want to go back into the office.
Yep.
We had, two young boys, and part of me resigning there was just I didn't want to spend long days at the office.
Yep.
Having been remote first, the transition to, a COVID and post-COVID world
No
was
problem.
quite easy, quite smooth, other than a lot of team members now had, little children at home, whereas prior they may have been in daycare or school. So that I think was certainly a challenge for employees. But I think first off is really just defining that culture and those expectations. So I
Hmm.
think the difference between in-person and remote cultures is remote cultures are much more reliant on a written culture. There's a
Right.
lot of writing.
Yep.
Whereas in office, it's a verbal culture. You might drop by somebody's, cubicle or desk and say, "Oh, Jeff, what do you think about, this, and this?"
Yep.
I do think in person has the advantage in creative situations where you need to collaborate creatively. But in an execution setting where you just need to get a lot of work done, remote is much better.
Yep.
You can get done a lot more work.
Yep.
So I think one of our strengths has been we've been remote day one, and most of our team members can flex their schedules, and many of them are part-time, so anywhere from part to full-time, which means moms can be there for drop off and pickup. You and I
Hmm.
mentioned that earlier, our mom's picking us up from school. And I think you're much more efficient too. I think someone that works 26 to 30 hours, you're probably getting as much efficiency out of that
Oh yeah.
employee than you are 40 hours in an office setting.
Yeah.
But we have clear parameters on, like, setting your schedule, when you're on and when you're off, expectations around parenting and work, which is key for us.
Yep.
Um, Expectations really around performance. So we run by quarterly sprints. So we borrowed a little bit from my prior experience in development,
Hmm.
and instead of weekly sprints in the development world, we do quarterly ones that are divided weekly. So every team member has something that is public that everyone knows they're working on, their kind of bigger project.
Hmm.
We have we have a weekly all team meeting,
Okay.
and you'll have departmental meetings and kind of pods where you're working with different team members.
Yep.
And then first and foremost is just trust. Like, we trust our employees. I think I often, certainly pre-COVID, got that question, well, I don't know if I could trust my employees. My response to that is always like, well, you know you should probably change your hiring practices if you can't trust your employees in office or remote. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't speak highly of your employees.